To start this video, we've got to go back to the very beginning. You see, this video didn't start the way I thought it was going to start, and this series went a completely separate way than what I had intended. The very first week, I went and I bought some bread and I was going to throw it out. I was going to make a video just about how instantly the birds came to the bread. And quite frankly, you all saw how that worked out. What I had imagined just didn't happen. So I went to one spot then another trying to attract the birds and seeing what would happen, and nothing happened. So I was going to go do something to prove my point. I was going to go do something to make the video have the outcome I wanted it to have. So I went and I started walking to my car, and I started going on a little bit of an adventure. I went to a park, and I got out of the car, and I started walking to sit next to a pond, and this happened. As I sat down, there were these 5 ducks who saw me all the way across the whole park. They had to have been used to seeing bags like that and people come feed them. So instantly they started swimming from all the way across the pond, and before I even got the bread out of the sack, they were sitting right there in front of me, which was kind of cool that it happened so quick. And so I sat there and I was thinking I was just going to throw a few pieces in, get the shot for the camera and be gone. But that's not really what happened. I ended up sitting there for a while. I ended up trying to make sure that each of the 5 ducks got some bread, and as you'll notice in some of the shots, there are a bunch of fish swimming around as well. If the ducks didn't get to the bread quick enough, the fish would eat the bread. And so I started kind of playing little games. I started throwing some close, and I started throwing some far away just to see what would happen. I threw one as far as I could right here, and they all take off and they're swimming for it. And it became pretty enjoyable. It became kind of fun. After this was all done off camera, I went and I was trying to get some of the ducks to come up on land, not for any real reason, but just to see if they'd follow the food, just to see if that bread was good enough. So the first day I started this video series, I found the birds. Yeah, I didn't just walk out and they instantly flocked to me, but I knew exactly where they were. We know that ducks love water. There's proper nutrients and the environment around them feeds them. And plus in a city, they're probably pretty used to getting fed by humans who are coming to the pond just to feed them. The ducks knew exactly where they were going to be fed. They even recognized the bag. Right when I got out of the car, they recognized that that was a loaf of bread, and they started swimming across the pond to me. So often we prepare ourselves for what happens when a bird comes to me. How do I feed it? What happens when someone who is in need of love comes to me? How do I love it? But that's rarely the case. That's rarely how things happen. You see, we've set up a comfort zone with like-minded people who agree with us, who we generally like, we've had these relationships with for so long. We set up this safe place that say, yes, if anyone wants to come to me where I'm safe and where I am comfortable, then I will show them love. But that's not the way that things work. We have to go out and we have to show love to those who are in need of love. We have to spread our seed everywhere. In Matthew 13 it says, a farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop, 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. You see, the farmer didn't just go and say, all right, some seed, this looks like a good place. This is a good place. He was spreading the seed everywhere. Yes, some didn't work. Some failed. And for a lot of us, once we have the taste of that failure, we don't want to do it again. We've gone out and we've loved people where it wasn't comfortable, and it's come back to hurt us. It's come back and it's made us put bigger walls up because we don't want to be vulnerable again, because the love that we have given out has come back to hurt us. But that's not where we end. You see, our call is to go, to spread our seeds, to bear our fruit. In 1 Corinthians 3, Paul says, I planted the seed, Apollos watered it, but God has been making it grow. You see, in 1 Corinthians, there's a division amongst the church because people are following church leaders instead of following God. They're saying, no, this person's closer to God, we should follow him. No, this person prays better, we should follow him. And Paul's saying, whoa, 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 it's not about following the church leaders. We are doing work and we want to spread God's love. We want to bear God's fruit. But we're not the ones who are ultimately in charge of the success. God is the one who is making things grow. God is the one who is doing the work. Our job, as we see all throughout Scripture, is to show love, to meet people where they are, and to not be afraid of the success or the failure that comes. That's God's. He's doing the heavy lifting. Our job is to just be vulnerable enough to go, to love those who need love, to spread fruit to those who are hungry, to scatter our seeds so plants can be produced. Go and feed the birds. I pray that we pay attention to what God's doing in our lives and the opportunities He's putting in front of us to go do those things. I hope to see you real soon, but until then, so long.